Welcome back to my channel. This is Megan Fox with pgmedia.com, and it's time for part 3 of Sarah Jessica Parker's interview with Vogue. But before we get to it, I just want to mention I've been reading your comments, and thank you so much for tuning in to the other episodes. But there are a couple things I need to address. One is the comments about the feather dress. I am so dumb sometimes. I didn't even process that she might be talking about animal rights because she didn't specify that she would never wear a feather dress because it hurts animals, which of course makes total sense. And I don't know why I didn't put those two together, but I didn't. Maybe I thought the feathers were not authentic. I don't know. But clearly that's what it's about. So I just didn't get that. That was me having a blonde moment, which happens sometimes. So I thought she was talking about like a fashion reason why she wouldn't wear feathers, like, oh, that's just so gauche or something. And clearly it's an animal rights issue, which, I totally respect. And upon further reflection, no, I wouldn't want a bunch of birds to die for something I was wearing. No, definitely not. So I give her a pass on that. Also, you've also been mentioning that this eye makeup is really unflattering, and I always have thought that fully lined eyes don't do much for people. They kind of make your eyes look smaller. It also gets smudged, and you run the risk of looking like a raccoon. But she does seem to love this fully lined eye, and yeah, I don't get it. But then again, I'm not an eye makeup person because I have such terrible allergies. But whatever makes people feel good. I don't want to run the risk of criticizing absolutely everything about this woman. And I try to say positive things in these reviews as well as what I find to be annoying, because I don't always want to be 100% negative. But I do understand that most of you tune in just to hear me complain about what I don't like. So you have all been making this commentary, so I thought I would, point it out. I still think she looks better here than she did in And Just Like That, and I can't figure out why they tried to make her look so old. Or I should say, to be more accurate, that they did make her look so much older than she is, and I can't figure out why Michael Patrick King wanted to do that. Like, what is his beef with her? He must be mad at her for something. But enough about that. Let's get back to the part 3 of this review of Sarah Jessica Parker interviewed on Vogue about her fashion looks.
I can tell you everything that I can know about this outfit. Okay, that is not a real Hermes.
I love this outfit, by the way. She's pregnant here, and I think this is the most adorable little dress. And I guess she was working and having to cover up her belly with a large purse. And she makes a big deal about how it's a knockoff and it's not really an Hermes bag. Like, no one cares. I don't know. Like, she's in a whole different class of people who she thinks we're going to know the difference between a knockoff Hermes bag and a real one. Like, I guess I'm just not the kind of girl that gets into these details, and it's okay if you are. I'm just not. And I just think it's funny, her reaction to this bag was a knockoff. Like, that's some kind of crime. Future me here is stopping me from having a blonde moment again. I realize that having a fake Hermes bag is a crime if you're putting the Hermes label on it. But I was under the impression that this was just a look-alike, which is not a crime, but maybe it really was a true knockoff, which would be a crime. Because then she goes into this description of Pat Fields having a guy, which might mean a knockoff. Which would also be interesting because that was a plot in Sex and the City when they went to LA. Remember, they were wandering around some bad neighborhood for some fake Fendi in the back of somebody's trunk. So did this come from that? I don't know, but that's an interesting question to ask. That was a funny episode, by the way.
Just so you know, Pat had a person, and she's like, "Do you want one? I can get you one." And, no, I don't really. No, I don't need one. But this isn't real. The dress is real. The dress is real, and it's juicy couture. Super pregnant. Did our very best to look how big.
I cannot imagine walking in high heels like that pregnant. Walking itself is just difficult. Like, she's a superstar for being able to do that. She's got some kind of core strength and leg muscles to be able to walk pregnant in those heels. It's kind of impressive.
That bag is. I mean, that bag had one job to do and did it very poorly. Maybe if it was a real Hermes bag, it would have done a better job. Colors I
Snob.
typically wouldn't wear.
Snobby. Colors she typically wouldn't wear. That's too bad, because those colors look great on her. It's very lively and colorful, and I love it.
Very bold. I didn't really get to dress that much as myself when I was pregnant because I was working so much of the time when I was pregnant. But when I was, in my own life pregnant, I mostly wore overalls.
Oh, that sounds hideous. Overalls? Oh, no. No. I don't recommend overalls for being pregnant. That would just make you look like a house. No.
I don't even think I'm fit to comment on it. It's a cover of Vogue. Steve Mizell. Well, we were.
What does that even mean? I'm not fit to comment on it? It's a cover. I don't know what she means.
Post September 11th, so we were all different. I had a child. I probably was just living more civilian. I was probably attempting.
I was living more civilian, like she's royalty or something. What is she talking about? I was living more civilian.
To live, I'd taken a little bit of time off, and I'm a New Yorker, so life was like a New Yorker's,
No.
Steedies, etc. This last shot of Sex and the City, I remember this day so well. I brought that scarf from home. Pat loved it. That shoe we wore a lot in a bunch of silhouettes. That's Manolo.
So again, just confirming that she did the costuming a lot. She brings things from home. She and Pat, so when she goes and says, well, that's not me, that's Carrie. She is also Carrie because she's the one making the design choices.
Red, sort of like more, almost like it's barely red. It's like vermilion / going into like.
I do not like red pumps with a hot pink scarf. I think that looks ridiculous. That whole outfit looks ridiculous. That's insane, but it's very Carrie.
Tomato. Carrie was a much more courageous dresser than I am, much more fevered relationship with fashion, much more indulgent. I kind of am much more of an.
I find this jewelry situation very indulgent. I don't know about you, but whatever this is going on in front of us is very indulgent. It's very, look at me. I've got my jewelry tucked inside my brassiere and I'm making you look at it. Like, it's pretty indulgent, Sarah.
Observer most of the time, and then occasionally I get to dip in and like participate. Like I wouldn't have been so brave, like I wouldn't have shown so much, but that's not a judgment. It's just different.
Okay, what bothers me about what she's saying here is that Sarah Jessica Parker clearly had a no nudity clause in her contract. It was widely reported. In fact, this was taken from page 6. It said Parker was the only Sex and the City starlet who didn't get naked on set. The narrator and main character was never comfortable with nudity. She ensured she wouldn't be forced to take off her clothes in the series because of it. In fact, she had a no nudity clause written into her contract. It was not the first time or the last time she would include that clause. Now, she has every right to do that. I personally respect her for it. That's great. She's not comfortable with it. She should put it in her contract. At the same time, I don't believe that she was ever uncomfortable wearing the clothes she was wearing, or she would have said no, because clearly she had no trouble drawing lines and boundaries. So I don't know why she's going back and saying she was uncomfortable in these clothes, when I don't believe if she had been uncomfortable that she would have done it, because she clearly shows that she's a person who knows how to draw boundaries for herself in her business. And you couple that with the knowledge of how she and Pat Fields worked together to pick out Carrie's looks, and they both decided on them together, it feels disingenuous to now say, I wasn't comfortable in those clothes. I'm not buying it, and it feels dishonest. It just feels dishonest.
I just want to say that this day, I didn't read this last scene until I was on my way to the set because I did not want to know how the show ended. And only when I read the last page did I see John called. That was the first time the name was revealed to me. Like, I'm going to say 6.
Wow. Well, so that's really interesting and fun. So not even the characters knew John Preston's name until we did. So I like that. That's fun.
Minutes before they called action. This is Annie Leibovitz for sure. And I'll tell you why I know. Annie always likes hair that way. I'm much more
So she's been on a lot of covers of Vogue. I didn't know she was on so many. Apparently, they just love them some Sarah Jessica Parker, and I think she can thank Sex and the City for that. I don't think she would have been on as many covers of Vogue as she was if it wasn't for this role. So, and anyway, Annie Leibovitz, by the way, fantastic photographer, and it's interesting that Sarah says she can tell an Annie Leibovitz photograph because of the particular way the hair flows. Like she likes hair going a certain way. That's interesting.
inclined to simply fit into what has been in her brain because she does so much prep. She really goes into a space ahead of time. She's there for 2 or 3 days. She has such specific ideas about pillows and fabric and lights and stacks and layers and dimension. Like we feel it is our job
It must be nice for your entire life to be about people adoring you and taking photographs of you.
to figure out where we fit into like the tableau. And I say that with respect and admiration and a huge amount of personal pride that I have had so many experiences with her. And I work as hard now as I did the first time. Like I won't stop trying.
Okay. I guess. Look at me, how great I am. I don't stop trying. I work so hard. Yeah, you work really, really hard standing there letting people photograph you. Is that like in comparison to the waiters who serve you all day on their feet? All the single moms who are out there going to work, just trying to make it, ends meet. Sarah, please stop saying things like you work hard when you show up for a Vogue photo shoot and that's the biggest, hardest thing you did all day. And tip your waiters and waitresses, please. They've been through hell, and they definitely deserve more than 20%. So if you have the budget to go out, make sure you budget that in for them, because these are some hardworking folks who are not being adored and photoshopped all day, but they do work damn hard, and they deserve good tips.
I almost can't talk about it.
I almost can't talk about this look either because it's so terrible. That dress did not fit her on the top. I don't know why that was a choice to wear a bodice that literally stuck out, and like was gaping. You can't really even tell from this picture, but you know what the dress looked like. And when she was standing sideways, there was this huge gap between her skin and the dress. I thought it was hideous. I thought it looked like it didn't fit. And it looks like garbage bags, and it also the bird is so awful, but we find out now that Michael Patrick King hated the bird, and I'm with him. Like, I hate all of Carrie's hats, and I wish that they had never done that because they're all hideous.
I loved this so much. It's been made clear to me that not everybody felt the same way about this dress.
That's right. Pretty much everyone hated it.
Which maybe makes me feel even more affection for it.
Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, when you hate something she does, that makes her wanna do it more. That's the kind of person she is. She loves the things that you hate. So I'm going on the record right now, and I am saying that I think season 2 is coming because we hated it so much, it's made her love it even more. And she's telling you that by telling you about this dress. And it's not just about this dress, it's about everything. She does not take criticism well. She still remembers criticism over that stupid thing she wore, that tube top she wore to the awards show back in 2000. She hates being criticized, and her answer to being criticized is to do it more. And I gotta respect that. I gotta tell you, I respect the hell out of that. That's how I am too. I'm the same way. So when you tell me you hate something, the chances of me doing it again have increased by about 100%. So I kind of respect that about her. I really do.
The bird, I'm not going to repeat the bird story. I think everybody knows the bird story.
No, we don't. Tell it
The
again.
conversation was this bird, I saw it and I thought it was magnificent. What was so crazy to me about this were the
Okay, it is cool. It is cool, but I don't know what I just didn't like it on her. She loved the colors. I also love the colors, but I just thought it looked, and I think it was because the makeup also on her that day was so dark. It was just too much. Her makeup should have been way lighter and like more ethereal and less dark. Those lips were too dark. Everything was too dark, and it was just too much.
colors. Like the colors are, especially in person, like you can't tell. We knew how we felt about it. And it, like many things, it didn't have, like, we couldn't throw ourselves in front of the court and make a really reasoned argument. Like, we had every possibility of losing the case.
Because Michael Patrick King is the hat killer, remember?
Didn't share or discuss with Michael Patrick King in advance, which was, not fair. It was a little bit of an ambush. And when I came to the set, he was like...
So she came to the set in this without telling him. There's so much to unpack about this, but you're going to have to wait till part 4 to do it with me, because we're already over 15 minutes and we've got to wrap this up. So we'll get into it when I get back with part 4. Stay tuned. Lots more interesting things coming up. I am about to go and record an article that I want to read to you that's actually from the news. It's not entertainment related, but maybe you'll tune into it to understand the Ukrainian and Russian conflict a little better, because I didn't understand it very well. And then I found this article that really interested me, and it made me feel like I know a little bit more than I did. And so I'm going to read it to you. And one of the things that I do in this channel is read to you articles, because I wish that there was an app that would read to me articles that I'm interested in, but I haven't been able to find that yet, so I've kind of become it for you. So I'm going to go and do that right now, and I hope you have a terrific evening. I'll talk to you guys soon.